You're listening to Hainai by Ivan Dapul. Episode 9. Kuwento.
Hey listeners, this is DJ in the Dark. Welcome to my podcast. If you're new here, you might remember me from Double DJ's Midnight Hour at 109.9. DJ is the name my mama gave me. Last week, I asked for all of you to call in and tell me about your weirdest experience in the last month. And oh boy, I was not expecting the stories I heard. You'll hear them in a second. But first, we gotta talk about just how safe everyone's being. A lot of the stories I got took place at night. And if you're walking around Toronto at night, you know safety is a big part of what keeps you safe. Who wrote this? Safety Purse is an amazing new product that helps keep you safe when you're wandering around on your own at night. Maybe right before you see something spooky that you'll be calling in once you get home. With its steel clasp that doubles as brass knuckles and a reinforced strap, you'll feel nothing but secure with Safety Purse on your person. Order now at safetypurse.com and use the code DJDJ for 30% off your first purchase. Let's not waste any more time and get into our first spooky story of the night. Now listeners, this caller had something very interesting to say. Once you got past all the, well, anyway, if you've been listening to our show for a while, you'll remember that literal weird stuff have been popping up around the city. And we've had our fair share of haunted dolls and creepy houses make an appearance on our show. This week's weirdness, however, comes to us from JD, who talks about a creepy cabinet he got off Kijiji.
Hello. Is this DJ? DJ, can you hear me? Hi, DJ. Hi, yeah. This is JD. JD calling in. You see what I did there, right? Got to keep it secret too. Anyway, DJ, listen. Okay. So listen. I was at my place, right? Right. This happened like a couple nights ago. It's really odd. See, cause DJ, listen. I want to be clear, all right? We weren't on the magic juice or anything like that, okay? But this happened at my place a couple nights ago. It definitely happened. So I was on Kijiji, right? I was on my phone and I was checking out. Since see me mom, brought us up with like loving all this vintage stuff in the house, right? And I thought, well, what about a little taste of home? If I got my own little vintage thing, would that be nice? So I looked up on Kijiji, and then they had this like cabinet, right? It was the exact same cabinet that my mom had when I was a little kid. So I thought, oh great, I'll just get me one of those. And then so I ordered it, and I had to wait for a couple days. But then it finally came in, and then Mirumi, he looked up from his he did not look up from his smoke. He did not do that, and he said, well, it's kind of weird, bud. And I said, come on, bud, it's fine. It's just, a little sculpture, a little art. Get some art in your life, all right? Anyway, DJ, listen. This is JD talking, all right? So one night, we all got together to appreciate the cosmic forces that surround us. All right, DJ, we weren't doing nothing odd. Okay, we were definitely not saucing up or anything like that. Anyway, we swear this happened. It's like a 2 a.m. Cabinet starts rumbling, making this noise, right? I look over and I can see it like moving, all right? And it was really weird. It was like 2 a.m. So I check it. I think, oh, that's a really big rat. I might have to like shoo this little rat out. And then it might be a really big rat. It might be a family of rats living in the cabinet. It might be a rat house now. And that's not good. So I check it. I open it, and then DJ, listen. It's really weird. I check it, and there's nothing inside. All right, I ain't even put my clothes in yet or anything. And so anyway, close it again. It starts rumbling again. It's weird, DJ. It's super weird. All right. So anyway, I think because my grandma used to tell me these stories about lost souls. traveling through the smoke of time and space all around us, DJ. No, I am not. I am not a nutter, DJ. All right, listen. JD does not lie. JD is not a nutter. He means everything he says, and I mean what I'm telling you right now, DJ. Okay. So anyway, there's this weird smoke what's coming out of the cabinet, and then it really smells and makes me stomach turn, and makes me shit myself just a little bit, just a tiny little bit of all right, like a wet fart, like like a shart. Okay, that starts coming out, and then anyway, it's really not good. I'm thinking, oh, I might have to return this to Kijiji because not that's not a great deal at all. And then we were like lying on the floor, we were thinking about our life, thinking about where everything went wrong. Cabinet was going rumbling above us. Blah, 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 blah. So the door flies open. A bunch of these strangers come in. I don't know where they're from. One of them is dark hair, and she comes in, and she starts chanting all this stuff. And then there's a couple others with her. And I'm thinking, shit. They come to take my cabinet and my stuff, and my PS5 and everything else I own in my life. And then I watch them, and the lady does actually does this weird stuff with her hands and her voice. I think she's like singing to the spirits or something, and the cabinet's still going. It's kind of like it's mad now. It's pissed. It's a pissed cabinet, DJ. Anyway, so I don't know. I think they're cops. I think they're firemen. They're not in the fireman's uniform. They didn't sound the fireman's alarm. I don't know what they were, DJ. But these strangers, they're breaking and entering at 2 a.m. and they're like, I think they're about ready to wrestle my cabinet. And then well, this might have been a dream because everything goes dark, and later I wake up, and then me and my friend are just there. We might have had a little nap, and then it's all gone. The cabinet's not going anymore. There's just these scratches, these weird scratches on top, and I paid top dollar for that cabinet. It shouldn't have no scratches when it comes in, DJ. So I'd like to file a complaint with the Department of Cabinet Complaints, please. DJ, you can help me out with that, right? Help out your old buddy JD, okay? All right, DJ? That's a promise, right? All right. Thanks, DJ. You're the best. Bye.
Well, that was exciting. And don't worry, JD, we've all been there. Well, at least in my circles. And call me crazy, but I'm pretty sure I remember someone talking about some kind of, what was it? Ghost busting group helping people around the city? If you know about this, remember to call it in. Our next story comes from Lynn P, talking about a strange man in a park.
Hey, there was this thing that happened like a few weeks ago, and feel like it would fit your podcast pretty well. Like you mentioned supernatural stuff, so here I am. I was walking around the park at night, and it was raining but not too cold, so it's like I was in a sweater, and then like I came to one of the fields, and someone was in the middle of the grass. He was either bent over or crouching, and he looked pretty Indian, brown skin and all, and he was very well dressed. So he didn't look homeless, but he was just like standing there for a really long time. So I got kind of creepster vibes, and I was like, okay, let's go. And then when I checked again, I either blinked or I turned my head, and I could have sworn I saw two people standing where he was. But like, then I turned again and I only saw the Indian guy. And it's like he was looking up at the sky with his hands out, and I'm like, okay, are you like feeling the rain or something? And I was like, I'm going to leave you to chill out in the rain. So I was like, okay, time to go home. That was it at first. But the other week, same place and same time, and the Indian man was there again. So it's like he was doing the like vibing in the rain thing, and for like a while, and I was like, okay, time to give him a little bit of space. And then it's like these two bigger guys came along. They started pushing him around, and I was like, oh, do I need to call the police? But it's like he just handed them something, and they looked at it and stopped. They were just staring at it like it was made of gold or something. I don't know what was so interesting about what he handed them, but it's like I was creeped out, and I was just about to leave. So it's like, okay, time to go again.
Excuse me for saying this, Lynn, but what you saw was definitely weird. But do you remember anything else about it that may have been more obviously supernatural?
Uh, I mean, I told you I decided to cut out of there, right? Like right before I did, Indian guy looked at me, and it felt like he was looking straight through me. And uh, do Indians usually have light eyes? I mean, I've seen like celebrities and stuff with light eyes, but I was walking away, and the Indian guy looked at me, and his eyes were blue, and it's like neon blue, and I was not close to them, so I must have been at least, how big is the field? Like 30 feet across, but it's like I could see all the way over to where he was, and he waved at me, and then he left.
Thanks so much, Lynn. Hope you don't run into any more creepiness out on your nightly walks. Speaking of nightly walks, or should I say nightly jogs, we've got Mary S. calling in about a strange encounter near St. Clair West.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today. Yeah, I'm calling in about an experience that happened a couple weeks ago. I live around the St. Clair West Bathurst area, and right along those beautiful park trails, and I'm often going jogging along them because I'm training for a 10K, actually, 10K marathon. So, and I know I've been training, but it's been so hot during the summertime, so I thought I would take the path in the evening. I tried to go early evening, but I probably shouldn't have. I know, but it's just too hot. It's too hot to jog during the day. So, and I've taken the path at night when I've come back from my waitressing. So I thought it'd be fine. It's got lights. I'm at the park and I start my jog and I've got my tunes in and I've got my safety purse. So I think I've got all my bases covered. In retrospect, maybe I should have been jogging with somebody, but I didn't. It was whatever. Anyway, I'm going for this jog and I'm running and there's this homeless man I pass on a bench and he's asleep and his cup's out. So I think, you know what, I'll throw some change in. I only had a $5 bill, so I thought whatever. Gave him that and I kept on running. I get to the entrance of the St. Clair West Trail. I'm going in and I thought I knew the path. I thought I did, but I'm running and I just can't clear these trees and it's getting darker than I thought it would get, I guess. And I'm running and it's just the darkness is just getting to be so much and I think, okay, I've just got to calm down. Maybe I've lost my way on this trail. I thought I knew it, but maybe I took a wrong turn because I'm still in the trees and I really want to get out to where the path has the little lights. But it just keeps getting darker and darker and I'm starting to panic because I have no clue where I am at this point on the trails. I think maybe I should turn around and go back, but I'm just so lost at this point and I'm already terrible with directions. And then thank goodness, I see the first tunnel, the overpass where the road is, and I run to that area and I find the lights again and I just hear this screeching coming from under the tunnel and my heart's starting to beat faster and I'm panicking because I am a woman alone at night in a park and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so stupid. I should not have done this. And I just see this tall figure under the tunnel, and it's just in the shadows, and it's just it looks kind of like a human, but it's too tall. It's too tall, and it's and I don't know. I'm just frozen. I don't know what to do, and there's just this shrieking coming from the tunnel, and it's there, and it's just sharp. It's got these like elbows or something protruding from it, and it's just looming in there in the shadows and the darkness, and this screeching is just getting louder and louder, and I think there's got to be a reasonable explanation, right? Maybe it's the raccoons or something having a fight, right? Maybe it's just my mind playing tricks on me, and I'm just too scared, and I don't know. I don't want to go back in the trees, but at the same time, I don't want to go under this tunnel, and I'm frozen. I don't know what to do, and the screeching is just getting louder and louder in my ears, and my blood is just pounding in my head, and I think I'm having a panic attack, and then I just hear this voice behind me, and it's that's that song, Danny Boy. It's this man, singing, "Oh, Danny Boy, the pipes are calling," and I turn around and I see the man that I mentioned earlier. The homeless man. He's there, and he's singing this song, and he's just strolling towards the tunnel where this monster is, and I want to call out to him, but my throat is just so dry, and he goes in, and then it's just pitch black. Everything just goes black. The lights, the pathway lights just go out, and I'm just in complete darkness, and the screeching just gets so loud, and then I hear, I can't even describe it, it's just this, I don't know what's going on. Something is getting hurt, and there's, it's just like blood, like that wet, it's just, and bones, and crushing and breaking, and I just want to run, and I want to scream, but I'm just frozen, and then the lights go back on. Just the man, the homeless man, and he's standing there, and he's smiling, and he just turns, and he just starts walking through the tunnel, and I don't know, but I feel like this weight has just been lifted off of my shoulders, and I run to the man, and I say, "Hey, what happened? Are you okay?" And he just looks at me, and he says, "Thank you for the money." And I say, but are you, what happened? I mean, I sound crazy right now, but I just don't know what happened. And before I know it, I realized I'm at the other end of the tunnel, and I look back, and there's no trace of any sort of fight or anything. And I turn back, and the man is gone. And I ran home. I tell you, I'd never run that fast in my life, but I take the exit path back onto the neighborhood and just book it towards my house. I honestly, I can't say what happened at that point, but I will not be running at night anytime soon through the St. Clair path.
Angels everywhere you don't expect. Huh. Our last story comes from, well, I wasn't sure if I should air this, but he said he needed to tell the story. If I'd still been working under someone else, I know this would have been cut. But I'm my only boss now, so here's a story told to us by one Jake S. about a face.
Hi. Yeah. Thanks for having me. Okay, so I'm guessing like you know about Vanessa Bartolotti, right? Like she's like really famous, trust fund kid, one of those old rich Italian families, that sort of thing. She's got all those famous fashion lines and everything, beauty, makeup, whatever. And she's really pretty, like supermodel quality, that sort of thing. Like just the perfect kind of look and everything like that. I'm a big fan, I mean, a lot of people are big fans. Like, so what my luck that I was able to work for like a couple of weeks for like I was a gardener for her huge ass estate, like on bridal paths, right? Like super expensive place, big mansions, that sort of thing. So lucky me, right? I got picked to work there because like their regular gardener came down with something. I don't know what. Hope it's not like bad or anything. And so you can imagine, that this is a big deal. It's great, like to be working for Vanessa Bartolotti herself. Like the fans are really like onto her. Like right now, she's supposed to be single, and everybody always wants to know like who she's gonna date next or who she's been seen with. And as you can imagine, like I get swept up in this sort of thing sometimes, and being actually there, like working on her at her home. Of course, like I would have wanted to try and get the scoop for myself, but you got to be professional. There's rules against like recording and stuff like that. So when I was like doing the usual rounds like at the garden, like one of those days, I'd been working like maybe a few days into the job at that point. I was just in one part of the garden, and I saw her like in the lounge, and she was sitting and talking to somebody that I couldn't see what it was, but she just called them like an old friend. I'm curious, so I would like to stay, try to find out a bit more, but I'm still on the job, I can't hang around too long. I took a little peek, listened for a bit, then I went back to working, but not before like I heard her talking about some guy named George and how he was back from somewhere when they thought he was dead, which is just weird. I mean, unless it's some script thing or movie thing, like that's gotta be a red flag for something, right? Anyways, like didn't have like enough time to like dwell on all of this, so I just keep going on at working. I go near to their front driveway, and I'm pruning the hedges over there, and so I finally see there the guy that she was apparently talking with, and the guy stepped out, old school gentleman sort of guy, really well dressed. He has a really nice suit, that sort of thing. Bit of an old fashioned type, I don't know, but he got to see me as he was leaving. He nodded, I guess he just acknowledged my presence, that sort of thing. But and then he went ahead and got into his car. It's really nice, it's shiny. It's either a Rolls or a Bentley, that sort of fancy car. And just as he was pulling out, about to go on his way, I kind of noticed that he dropped something right on the driveway. I went closer and I looked at it, and it looked like it seems to be a cufflink. It looked really fancy, It didn't look like a fake. It looked expensive, and it just kind of looked old in some way. I couldn't describe how, but it's like just had that kind of air with it. I tried to rush it after the gentleman, like the fancy guy, but obviously didn't see or notice. So I figured like keep it for now. If he comes back, if I see him again, I can give it back then. If I don't, he's not my boss, so I guess no harm done there. A few days later, I'm still on the gardening job, working my way around the grounds. Then I noticed Vanessa is talking to somebody again, and she she didn't seem to have anybody that she was talking to, not in person. So I thought maybe it was she's calling somebody, but she didn't seem to have a phone. And I looked closer, and she didn't seem to have like any kind of Bluetooth headset or anything either. And I also couldn't hear anybody talking back. So I'm like, is she talking to herself or something? Am I really just not seeing who it is? I looked around a little bit. I didn't see anyone. So after some point, like Vanessa moved a little bit, and then I didn't see her anymore. And I also had to get back to work anyway. I go around to the back. I'm looking for some tools that I need. So I go around to one of the sort of back storage and sheds of the house, and it looks old. And there's a window there that looks like it really hasn't been touched or cleaned for years, which is weird because the rest of the house looks spotless. So I'm here in the back sort of area, and I'm seeing this storage small building, and I look inside, storage room, bunch of old furniture stacked up, and it's been covered, and it really looks like dusty in there. So I'm looking closer. Then I see something. I see some kind of movement inside the storage room. I'm like, did I just imagine it? So I look around, normally I'm not like a very sort of jumpy person, but so I look back and probably didn't see anything behind me or anything. But then I look back at the storage room and then I almost get a heart attack because there was something smiling back at me from outside the window, and it's blood red face. It's got huge ass eyes, and it's grinning at me, and its teeth are yellow and sharp. And then so I ran. I go to Vanessa. I find her. Told her that I saw somebody dangerous in the back, and then she might not be safe. So she called security, and then she said that I could go home. And then she paid me for the full 2 weeks and plus the extra, even though it had only been 1 week at that point. She never asked for me back. I would like to think that it's not because of something I did, but she paid me a lot, so I guess I'm grateful for that. I just have to say it, I mean, it just seems too important not to leave anything out. I just felt I had to say it somewhere, even though I get that why it might seem like risky, but it just has to be said. And because that's not the only thing. I still have the cuffling. It's really beautiful, and then it's really. I look at it every day. It's almost.
Oop, I think we lost Jake. We'll try to get back in touch in a sec. But in the meantime, thanks for the story. Well, that was a lot. And even though there were only 4 stories in this episode, well, you guys noticed, right? Something weird's going on in this city. Something big. We never got back in contact with Jake S. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Join us next week for DJ in the Dark, where we talk about the strange, ghostly remnants of the old prisons over in Liberty Village. As always, I'm DJ, your DJ, and I'll see you all soon.
You're listening to Hainai by Motsi Dapul.
Hey everyone! This is Rajheli, co-creator and co-producer of Hainai. Hainai is a podcast produced by Motsi Dapul and me and licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial Share-alike 4.0 International License. Today's episode was written and directed by Motsi Dapul. The role of Laura was played by Abigail Rhodes. The role of Murphy was played by Edward Boxler. The role of DJ was played by Yoyi Halago. And the roles of JD were played by Ivan Dapul, Lynn by Jamie Legaspi, Mary S. by Sarah Bransfield, and Jake S. by Mike Ramirez. To help support the production of Hainai, you can buy us a milk tea at Coffee or subscribe to our Coffee Gold at coffee.com/HainaiPod. That's ko-fi.com/HainaiPod. Or you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/HainaiPod. You can also check out official Hainai merchandise on our Redbubble store at redbubble.com/people/HainaiPod. To give better, consistent, and quality episode productions, we've decided to change the episode release schedule. Full episodes will be released every other week at Sunday 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Monday 9 a.m. Philippine Time. Hainai is available on Podbean, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. You can find the links to these channels along with news and updates on our official blog, hainaipod.tumblr.com. If you get to listen, leave us a rating and review while you're at it. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at HainaiPod. Once again, thanks for all your support, and thanks for listening.